This story is entitled David and Goliath. David misfires and maims an innocent, based on my memories of when I was 10 years old in 1962. It was sunny when I began my journey, but I could sense gathering storm clouds. I was apprehensive about my assignment from the start, but my orders were clear and I knew my way, so I began to relax. As I walked along the uneven path, I took out the list of supplies that I would be acquiring. My attention was disrupted by the screams of a crying baby that reverberated from the dreaded caves of Nelson. As I looked up, I saw the grisly Goliath standing on the precipice of a raised cement construction sticking out from his crumbling abode. He stood there terrifyingly, holding what appeared to be a boulder in each hand. He laughed and he told me to turn back or accept the punishment that was about to rain down on me. His devoted smaller brothers stood shield behind him and chuckled with glee. I was about to turn back when I remembered the task that was entrusted to me and those that depended on my mission being successful. I reached into my pocket and, feeling the list, renewed my courage. I stepped forward and found myself dodging the fury that the Colossus was heaving down on me. Most were near misses, but one nicked my heel and nearly knocked me off balance. I was at an impasse, and the monster blocking my way seemed to have an endless supply of missiles to fire in my direction. Feeling at a loss for what to do next, I decided to launch a small stone just to ward him off. I hurled it at Goliath with a ferocity I'd never experienced before. The velocity was adequate to reach its mark, but my aim wasn't, and I hit the young imp right above his left eye. His blood spurted out as he screamed and retreated back into his cave. Yelling at the top of his lungs and threatening my very life, Goliath started to descend from his perch. I know that he intended to do great harm, so I ran off with leaps and bounds to find a place to hide. It was just 4 houses down from where the dreaded ambush took place, but I felt safe once hidden behind my family's garage. Once I was safely curled up into a fetal position, I began to cry and pray that I hadn't blinded the kid. After repeating this prayer over and over, I gradually regained some composure. I remembered that I still held the family's cash, and I pulled it from my pocket. Yep, I still had the crisp $1 bill, and it would have been plenty enough to pay for everything that I was to get. I pulled the entrusted list from my other pocket. I read it out loud to myself. 1 loaf of bread, 23 cents, a quart of milk, 31 cents, and a half dozen eggs, 29 cents. Just as I finished reading the list, my none too happy mother stepped around the corner of the garage and told me to come into the house. There, standing at the front door, was the little urchin that I had struck and his irritated mother. She lifted the Band-Aid covering a small gash on his eyelid and asked if I had done this. I began to explain defensively how this all came about, but I decided that it would be better just to declare myself guilty and throw myself on the mercy of the court. I guess it was the right decision because the 2 of them left shortly after I apologized, and my mother, who I think understood the situation, never said too much more about it after that. Best of all, my father was never brought into the discussion, and I wasn't asked to go alone to the corner store again until I was older.